Welcome to DentonRadio.com, powered in part by Classic of Denton. And welcome, everybody. We are live yet again at DentonRadio.com. Thank you very much for tuning in with us. We have got quite the treat. On January 18th, there's going to be a very, very cool event called You Are Beautiful, benefiting the American Cancer Society. In the studio with us is our keynote speaker, as well as the organizers of the event. Let's go around the table and just do introductions really quick, starting with Michelle.
Oh, good morning. I'm Michelle Houston, and I'm with Access Bank Texas. But for this event, I'm one of the PR chairs.
I'm cool. Susie Humphreys, and I'm a has-been in radio, in radio and television. I'm older than dirt, but I'm also a cancer survivor who believes that forgiveness and laughter can get you through any devastation.
Love it. And last but not least,
I'm Sherry White, and I'm excited to be a marketing and PR co-chair for the event and to get to work with these wonderful, amazing women.
Love it, love it, love it. Now let's hear
from... And who are you?
Oh, I'm just the guy that pushes the buttons. Jake Laughlin, if they don't already know me. So anyways, let's talk a little bit about this event. Again, coming up January 18th, it's going to be a really fun time for anybody that wants to come, specifically dealing with cancer, but we talked about really could be dealing with just about anything and just need some additional support. Again, they're going to be hearing from you, so I'd love to get a little bit more into your background. If they haven't heard of you, which I'm doubting is not the case because you're kind of a big deal.
No.
Let's talk a little bit about, Speakers Hall of Fame, some really incredible stuff that you've been able to do. Let's talk a little bit more about your career. Give us a little bit of background for anybody that may not know.
Let's see. I was born in. I had an amazing childhood. I was a latchkey kid. My mother and dad were divorced, but I was kind of put out there on my own. My first day of school, my mother said, she woke me up. She sold insurance back then. This is in the 40s. Okay. And so she said to me, Suzanne, the first day of school is today. I can't take you because I've got a Monday morning meeting, but you know where it is. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And people, if I tell that story in a crowd, they go, well, you poor thing, your mama didn't even take you to school. I said, listen, do you think when you're 7 years old and you walk into the principal's office and tell him who you are, you think I've ever been embarrassed to go anywhere now and tell you who I am? You see the good with the bad.
There you go.
All right, well, the good with the bad is I've had a great good, and it has always come from bad. And so I've made a living talking about finding the good in things that you think are the most horrible thing. I know because when I'm down, when I'm out, when things are wrong, I'm in a growth spurt. I am in a growth spurt. And this is, I believe, God at work in me. I mean, that's it. That's it. That's my whole life. I mean, I have been broke, disappointed, fired, had a baby at 40 years old, been a traffic reporter in a helicopter, did the worst report ever known to human beings, and it got me a job in radio for 20 years, just telling the truth, just saying what was on my mind. No script. I've never written a speech out. I just stand up and tell it. Having been in radio, I know timing. I know I can take a 9-minute story and tell it in 90 seconds. I know that. So everything I've ever done has opened a door for something else, including breast cancer. Breast cancer takes you to your knees because you're scared, you're lost, you feel alone, and then slowly you see somebody else that's got it worse than you. So what happens to us? Breast cancer, through me, opened my compassion to all who were ever lost, grieving, had cancer, had hemorrhoids, had all of it. All of it. We all are walking around with it. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm. That was a mic drop moment right there. Unfortunately, the microphone's on your face.
When you went, what were you thinking? Were you thinking, when is she going to shut up?
No, I was that is my way of agreeing with you.
He was saying amen.
That's fun. Go.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so for anybody that is not familiar with this event, give us a rundown of some of what we can expect. What's the basic setup? What are we looking at? Other than our fantastic keynote, what's the event going to be, Sherry?
It's called You Are Beautiful. You are beautiful. And that is something everybody needs to know, regardless of what the problem is, whether it's cancer or whatever. We are beautiful. And it isn't what happens to us, it's how we deal with it. Life is what happens to you while you're making other plans. And so whoever's in that audience, we want you to know that you're beautiful, whatever it is. I don't care if your eyebrows dropped off or the detox. What are those things? Botox didn't work. Now your lips are so plump that, it's like, well, whatever. Okay. All right. Shut up, Suzanne. Just shut up.
No, please don't.
So funny. So funny.
Why did I say that?
Okay, so
It was funny.
along with being front row to the show, which you now know you must do, we have silent auction items and we have a fashion show, which is featuring actual survivors. So it's very
that's great.
special to watch them go down that catwalk with confidence and their head held high. And oh boy, I'm starting to just tear up thinking about it because it really is emotional. Last year we had a mother and daughter team that went across the stage. I think we had like an 11-year-old girl go across the stage, and it's phenomenal. It's a really good event for all ages, all genders. It's fun and heartfelt and laughter. So we're healing right there on the spot. We're doing some healing.
And the healing comes through that love. The healing comes through forgiveness. The healing comes through acceptance and laughter and laughter and laughter.
We know you'll bring that.
Yes.
There'll be plenty of laughter and love.
So who are doing the fashions?
Well, we have a whole fashion committee right now, and we're in the beginning stages of it. We haven't even released our tickets yet, but that's soon to come. But
Yeah,
definitely-
because we're talking about January.
yes, but we're on it. We heard about Susie, and we're like, oh, let's interview her. So that's what happened. But yeah,
Who's going to pay for my clothes?
we're taking a
You have a
donation.
whole team.
We got a
have
Kickstart
special-
fund. Yeah.
Well, make sure that they have plenty of elastic in them.
Oh, okay. There you go again.
I'm also walking around with one boob.
Oh, the uniboob.
So if I walk a little to the
That's fun.
oh my gosh. Would you like for me to go now?
No, this is perfect.
No,
This is what we came here for. Oh, love it. Awesome. Okay, so lay down a couple more stories. What are some of your favorites to tell?
Okay, I'll tell you. When I was in television with Channel 8, I interviewed a lot of stars, and one of them was an old actor named Andy Devine. And Andy Devine was Roy Rogers' sidekick. And he was a tall man, about 6'3". He had sideburns that were wispy. He had a mouth that was kind of half open, like he was eating mashed potatoes. And he always had a personality that was warm and wonderful. And as a kid, I sat on the front row at the Broadway Theater because for 9 cents, that's how my mother could have a babysitter. The movies were my babysitter. All right, so here's your flash forward years later. In walks that character, Andy Devine, with his precious wife Mary. He's 6'3". She's a little bitty, and they're holding hands, and he's a handsome guy. He's got on a beige kind of blazer and a gray cashmere turtleneck and gray flannel pants, and they're holding hands, and they're precious. And when we sit down in the orange chairs, I never pre-interview. I just don't do it. I turned to him and I said, I grew up, Andy Devine, I grew up with you, with Roy Rogers. And I said, you always seem so happy. And he said, yeah, pretty much. And I said, have you always been happy? He said, yeah, except that one time. I said, What time? This is what he told. All his life he wanted to be a cowboy. He could rope, ride, bus broncs, calf rope, all of it. So he saved his money, told his parents, he was in Oklahoma. He said, I'm going to go to Hollywood, California. I'm going to get a job as a cowboy in the movies. And he saved $300. That's it. And he got on a bus the day of graduation, said goodbye to his family, goes up, rents a garage apartment with just in the one-story garage, a little room, and he goes every day. He's got $300 minus the bus money, minus the rent, and for 2 months, nothing happens. And he's so discouraged. He says, if God does not want me to be in the movies, I'm going to kill myself. And so he decides he's going to give it 2 more days. And at the end of 2 days, he had very little money left. And he decided he would just go in and close the windows and turn on the gas in his little oven and kill himself. And as he turned the corner at dusk from the last walk to Republic Studios, he notices above the light bulb above his door that is on, there's something hanging on the door. And he goes up to it. He can't read it, but he holds it up to the light, and it says, due to non-payment of your bill, your gas is turned off. Oh my God. Wait a minute. And he looked at it and it said over. And on the back was a note from his agent that said, Andy, show up tomorrow morning. Roy Rogers wants you for his movie. And do you know, Andy said to me, Susie, I've never been down since. Is that a great story?
I love that.
That is.
Wow.
And
That's
that's so
cool.
true in life. Every time there's something bad, you're right, it just opens up an opportunity for something so much better than you would
It's
have had.
always better. And if you don't get what you want, it's because you don't need what you want. It's not right for you. And sometimes you get what you don't want, but it is the catalyst that will show you how to stand up for yourself. Follow me? I mean, really, and biblically, Judas, well, hey, he put Christ in the spotlight. Isn't that true?
Very.
And so was he necessary? Maybe. I don't know. But I think about that. I mean, I'm not a preacher or anything, but I think about that through my own life. Something has always had my back.
I love it. You're having a lot of moments where all of us are just like stunned silent. Like,
whoa.
It's making for really rough radio because then there's just a lot of dead air. But
Yeah, but you know the funny thing, when I was working with Ron Chapman in radio, this is one day I was driving a van after I got out of the helicopter. I flew in that helicopter and everything, and I got in a van, and I couldn't sleep the night before, and so I drive into the station on the roof, of the garage parking lot, and Ron can see me down there, but I'm just going to take a little nap, because I cannot hold my eyes open, all right? So I'm lying there, but for some reason he sees me during the news, and he's not on the radio. He comes down to bring me a cup of coffee, and what he finds is I'm lying there, dead asleep, my mouth open, snoring, and he just silently goes back upstairs, and when he gets on the microphone, he says, I want to try an experiment. Susie. And I wake up. You heard my name. I went, yes! And he said, I was in a news break and came down to give you a cup of coffee, and you were asleep during my show. I said, yeah, I fell asleep because I was listening to your show. and then he would be silent, and I knew he was laughing, because and then he'd hit that out cue, those were the moments.
Oh, yeah.
Those moments.
Yeah.
It's
Very
not,
witty.
is it? Those moments. And I'm asking you, because you are a guy that has had an idea. You've got a radio station here. You're going big. And you know what's so great? You can do with it what you want. You understand that? How do you think that happened to you? What do you think? Why did the doors open for you?
It's because I got a great boss that's listening right now, and so it's all because of her. No,
Don't deflect with laughter.
now the Denton Radio has given us a great opportunity to do a lot of fun things for a lot of fun artists who have. We've seen a lot of great opportunities come together for just a lot of great people.
So what would you say to somebody sitting out there that has an idea like you had? How do you tell them to want it so badly? Don't quit. You know what I'm saying? Were a lot of doors slammed in your face?
Oh, of course. I went back to, for me, I always think of this one moment. I was at a business seminar, and they were quoting Winston Churchill. And there was right in the middle of the war, and this college had asked Winston Churchill to come out and give a speech, thinking we're just going to ask him. Of course, he's not going to come, and he actually says, "Okay, I'm coming."
I know, and it's the greatest speech
Oh,
ever.
yeah. He walks out, he puts his hat and his cane down, he gets on the podium, and he goes, "Never quit, never quit, never quit, never quit, except in reasons of honor and good sense, never quit, never quit, never quit." And then he walks
He
away.
walks away. That's exactly right. And that was it.
That was it.
And it was mesmerizing because it was so truthful. It was truthful. Did you want to quit sometimes?
Of course.
Well, what kept you going? Now, just spit it out.
Well, knowing that there was something more to what we were doing than that particular project. There's always something more at work than just the task at hand. There's always something more you can do for someone than just that particular service. There's more in the end that happens in here for the next person when you do something for them.
When you say you're happening in here, you're touching your heart, which is that's the whole point, isn't it? Everything, it's like Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you did, people will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And she also said, when you make a decision with an open heart, you will always make the right decision.
Yeah,
I
your
need
work's
to go to
meaningful.
sleep now.
We need
Just
coffee.
pass the collection plate. We're at the Denton Welcome Center. I'll be selling pencils on the side.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, the You Are Beautiful event happening January 18th right here in Denton. We are with the keynote speaker for that event. So make sure you're getting your tickets. The link is in the description, so don't miss it. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, you can check out the link there. If you're watching us at dentonradio.com, make sure you pop on over. We'll have the links on all of our social media outlets, so you can go ahead and get your tickets now so that you do not miss out. If you are struggling with something, if somebody you know is struggling with something, somebody you don't know is struggling with something, make sure you get your tickets for this event because it's going to be an awesome one right here in Denton, Texas. We're going to jump back into the music. Thanks very much for coming, everybody. We appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Y'all have an awesome, awesome time. Stay tuned right here at DentonRadio.com. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.